folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and welcome to Board Game Breakfast from Dice Tower West 2019 here in Las Vegas. Well, it's been a fantastic week. We've had a great time, and it's over. So this week, I'm going to be at the Gamma Trade Show in Reno at different meetings and stuff, but Sam and Z will be, and Roy and Kenny and Chris will all be holding down the fort at the Dice Tower headquarters. So there's a lot of stuff that you guys will be seeing. Dice Tower West is over, but we're going to be in a week opening up registration for Dice Tower Retreat. We'll also be announcing Dice Tower Cruise coming very soon. The dates for that, the contracts and everything have been signed, so exciting things are around the corner. But even more exciting is this show. We got stuff to talk about, board games, so let's get started. Okay, so what's happening on the internet this week? So there's an open letter from ADW Capital Partners, who owns 9% of IDW, that they want them to sell to a more strategic company or whatever. It's an open letter, you can read it. I don't really keep track of all that information. I don't know if this affects the game department, because IDW is much bigger than just their games. Well, we'll see. All right, so there's More Games Please has an interview up with the folks who made Wingspan, both the publisher, Jamie Stegmaier, and Natalia Rojas, who is the artist, and Elizabeth Hargrave, the designer. So it's actually pretty cool. You can read what all three of them, they talk back and forth, and I like that sort of thing. I found a cool video on 90-second nerd board game reviews. This is kind of something I'm a fan of, short things, 90 seconds. They do a really good job. The link we have, I think, goes to Koi vs. Saikatsu, but they have several videos on their channel. Check that out. Popular Mechanics has once again made their 50 best new board games list, and once again, it's really good games. Like, it looks like a board gamer made the list. Fantastic, I'm glad. This thread is pretty interesting. If you check the links below, a guy was involved in a board game convention, and the convention kind of went south, and he was sad and everything, and his wife threw him a board game convention for his birthday. That's pretty impressive, and I liked it. Also, I found a link to some people playing a 100-year-old Pit game. Pit is one of the oldest games that people still play today, so that was a neat thing. The Martin Wallace has kind of made a public statement that he's not for the Age of Steam game, which is coming from Kickstarter. You click the link if you want to go into drama. It's very drama. There's years behind this where Martin Wallace and John Bauer, the publisher and the designer, had a big falling out, and it's still going on to this day, unfortunately. And then in happy news, the 13th annual Golden Geek Awards are open, so if you want to go vote on those, go to Board Game Geek and vote for the award, the best games that you think of. I'm not actually sure if it's like for the year 2019 or something like that, but you can find out that information. That's all the internet links and stuff that I found on the internet. If you have something, send it to me at tom@dicetower.com. Until next time. Well, wait, the show's not over. Let's keep going.
Hey, this is Roy Canning.
I'm Nick Murphy.
And this is Printed Pieces, where I talk about 3D printing and what it can bring to the board gaming hobby. I'm here at Dice Tower West, and I'm getting up with Nick they just started doing a whole bunch of 3D printing stuff as well. So we want to talk about what we're excited in 3D printing and what we printed recently.
Yeah, we've been printing a whole bunch of different stuff for board games. We printed some new birds for the game Wingspan to get rid of the cubes, because we're like, these cubes are nice, but it'd be cooler if there's something else. I know people have done like bird houses. I think you've done for Wingspan.
Yeah, I saw you guys, but I haven't been able to do it myself.
Okay. I know some people have done birdhouse. We made little birds. We made 3D paddocks for Dinosaur Island to get rid of the tiles. And it's just, there's just this plethora of cool stuff.
Yeah.
That we're in the very beginning of it, you know?
I know, it's really cool because we both talk about Thingiverse on our different segments and things like that, and channel, and it's just crazy how many things people have made for board games out there.
Everything. Not even board games. You're like, oh, I need this hinge for this specific faucet. Someone made it. Someone made it already.
Like I went to go get my SD card for this camera, and I had a printed out SD card holder. That sort of thing. But yeah, there's all sorts of crazy stuff you make. I actually have started messing with Tinkercad, and I've been playing a lot of Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea here, but actually did some 3D printed towers for Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea. So it's not perfect. This is my prototype of it, but I'm trying to figure out how to make this sort of stuff. And the more people we get into 3D printing, the more things that we'll be able to print. I know some people that just from watching my segment have already started making their own inserts for games and things like that, and they're throwing that stuff up on Thingiverse Thingiverse, and there's just more things for us to print.
Yeah, and there's so much help out there on the internet and stuff like that. So like, if you want to do it, do it. Like, it's so much fun. It really, really is.
Awesome. Well, what would be your favorite thing that you printed so far?
My favorite thing is actually the thing we actually gave to you, because we wanted to exchange something 3D printed. So we gave him Gollum, because you're one of the few people who loves Lord of the Rings as much as us.
Yeah.
And so we printed out Gollum, we spray painted him white so that, you can see him, but look at Gollum. He's so angry.
Nice. And I actually printed out these cool, like, being Dice Tower themed, I printed out these cool, like, lithophane things, and I gave them to a bunch of different contributors.
Awesome.
But they're like these things that you can, like, hold up to the light and see through. I'll show you a little clip here. But basically, you can see, like, the Dice Tower guys with all the Dice Tower.
Yeah. It's awesome. It's so cool.
Well, thanks for joining us on Printed Pieces, and hopefully you're enjoying 3D Printed, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Melody Vasel here, just saying hi from college. I just wanted to drop in and talk about some games that I brought here. Today, I wanted to talk about Codenames Pictures. When I saw this game, I knew I wanted to bring it to college because it's such a great party game, especially for smaller groups like 4 all the way up to bigger groups like 12, although I haven't played with that many yet. When I played this game with my friends, it became an instant hit. I am constantly asked if we can play it again, and my roommate is always bothering me like, hey, want to play Codenames? And because it was such a great hit, I decided to bring more kinds of Codenames. So I got Marvel and Disney. We also try to play a combination. Not that great, they're better off on their own. And I also got Codenames Duet, mainly so that I can play with my roommate whenever she asks and we can't put a group together because, hey, college. Anyways, I really like this game. It was such a great game to bring. Definitely a good time filler when we don't want to study, or kind of de-stress from studying, I guess is a better way to say it. But anyways, yeah, it was just some fun games that I had, and I'll see you guys next time. See ya!
Hi, Mike Alicio from Solo Mode Games. Today I'm going to make my latest unsubstantiated and probably unprovable claim. Here goes. I'm going to say that the majority of people that have campaign-style games in their collection don't play those games through to completion. Bold statement? Of course, but how do we know if it's true? Well, we really can't, but I will be interested to hear what you have to say. Speaking for myself, I will tell you that I've got a number of games that have campaign modes to them, and the vast majority of them I don't play that way. Especially if it's a game that has multiple modes available, one of them being a campaign mode. For example, Near and Far. That's actually one of the few games I own that I have played the entire campaign, but it's not the only way you can play the game. You can play one-off scenarios, I think they call it arcade mode. You can play through a character progression, which is not exactly like a campaign, but I've actually played through a full campaign. The only other games I own that I've played a full campaign on is Charterstone, and although it's not exactly finished, I'm one away, the Scythe Rise of Fenris campaign. I'm on the last game of that, so I'm going to count it. All of my other games that have campaign scenarios, I have not finished. Now, maybe I'm the outlier, I get that. It's actually one of the reasons why I got rid of Gloomhaven, was because the prospect of getting through an entire campaign of that was almost unthinkable to me. And I don't even know how many games it takes to finish that campaign. But I'm curious, am I an outlier in this? Do you play your campaign games through to completion on a regular basis? Is this something that you just kind of expect is going to happen? Or more often than not, do you play through a few of the games and then maybe move on to something else? If you can let me know in the comments below, I'd be really interested to hear what you have to say. Thank you so much for your time as always, and have a great day.
What's up everyone, it's Danny, and welcome to Tabletop Twitter Talk, a segment where I cover some conversations happening between our community of board game and tabletop gamers on Twitter. For this week's poll, I wanted to know, do you have any old school mass market games in your collection? The 4 categories I included were, no, not at all, a couple for the kids, a few cause I like them, and duh, cause I'm a collector. 324 people answered, and 48% said that they had them in their collections because they like them. 22% said no, not at all. 18% keeps them around for the kids, and 12% keeps them around in their collection, well, because they're collectors. Let's see some replies from our Twitter community. For RH, he has a plethora of different mass market games, and he finds it interesting that many game mechanics from the classics find their way into new games in some form. The retro board gamer himself definitely has some, including Dark Tower, Fireball Island, Omega Virus, Mall Madness, and Dream Phone, and he could go on, and he loves to see how the design has evolved over years, and it's just silly fun. And Noah seems to be on the same page. He has Heartthrob for the 80s dudes in fashion. For Sarah, she has an affection for Clue and Sorry and still has versions of these. They were the games she had as a kid, and she can't get rid of them as they bring a sense of nostalgia for her. For Jack, it seems like every time she's culling or trading or donating, it seems like they seem to leave the collection. And that seems like on the same line for Roy. After his big move, he got rid of some mass market games that he was holding on to play with the kids, but they got donated eventually. But hobby games have taken their place. For Jason and his family, he actually got rid of them too, but it wasn't his call. His kids actually got rid of them to give to their school because, quote unquote, they needed beginner games and we're gamers. What a proud papa. For Christy at Peace Loving Games, she still has a couple. Clue comes to mind because they still play them, and then she still keeps them around for sentimental reasons. For a game like Sorry, which was her dad's favorite, and the first board game that she ever bought for the family. And for Steve, he has Monopoly in his collection, but only because it was given to him as a gift this past Christmas. Because, you know, he's into board games. He said that his enthusiasm and gratitude during the gift-giving session was Oscar-worthy. I don't blame you, Steve. So how about you? Do you keep any mass market games around, whether it be for yourself, for your kids, or for nostalgic reasons? Or do you not have any in your collection to open up spots for other games? Leave a comment below or reach out to me on Twitter. Remember, I put a poll out every week, so feel free to join the conversation with our amazing board gaming and tabletop community. Thanks for tuning in for another Tabletop Twitter Talk. I'll see you guys next week.
Okay, so because we're traveling today, there's no live Q&A, and there's also no week in review this week, but you'll see both those things return next week. However, our other live stuff is still happening. Our live Testing Tuesday, crowd surfing show on Wednesday. On Thursday, you'll see a live board game breakfast, which I won't be part of. It will be hosted by Z and Sam. So them and Roy and Chris are going to be handling the live stuff this week. Also, they'll be putting out several reviews over the course of the week. So there's lots of content. And if we get a chance, we'll put up Jason's blogs as soon as we can. So that's kind of the content coming this week. Mandy and Suzanne have a podcast going up tomorrow on the Dice Tower. And of course, we have a ton of great podcasts, including several new ones that have joined as part of the Dice Tower Network. And you can find all that at dicetowernetwork.com.
Hey everybody, Z Garcia here. Welcome back to the Chop Shop, in which I'm going to be talking about a game that I have recently culled from my collection. I own a lot of games. These are not games I suddenly don't like. It's just something that perhaps is duplicated by something else in the collection, and I just need the room. So today I'm going to be talking about this one right here, New York 1901, with that gorgeous Vincent Dutrait artwork in which you are building buildings across New York City at the turn of the century. The game has a Tetris kind of vibe to it, and the main reason I'm letting it go is, well, size. It's a big box, right? But also, these kinds of games just exploded lately. You know, there's so many with these pentamino shapes in which you are building something. And one that I really enjoy and came out after this is Bear Park, in which you are going to be building up your own bear park with different pieces, combining them in order to fill these squares and expand your park and so forth. This one is a little slower paced than that game, and it has a few more mechanisms. And I don't mean there's more happening, I just mean it sort of takes you a different path to sort of achieve the same thing. I find Bear Park to have a nicer theme to me, one that's more appealing, but also mechanically it's just a little simpler. It's a little more streamlined, a little more straightforward. And so it gets, it just gets picked over this one 10 times out of 10. So this one is not going to be sticking around anymore. I really enjoyed it, though again, I think the pace is a little slow, but it's just, there's too many of these kinds of games and something's got to go. So there you go. That is New York 1901. One of the ones I got to let go. Thanks for checking this out with me. I'll see you on the next one.
It's 1861. Abraham Lincoln is president. The slaveholding states have split from the Union, and they've attacked Fort Sumter. Oh, it's on. Lincoln is a strategic two-player war game based on American Civil War, which plays about 2 hours. So how do you choose which side to play? Hey, do you want to play as an agricultural, cotton-growing society with the best skeleton of Navy and no international allies, while I play as burgeoning industrial powerhouse with twice your population? That sounds like a good fair battle. Sign me up! This is division level game, which each cheat representing 10 to 20,000 men. Each game combat representing an entire battle. Each cheat has one number representing its strength. It's a battle of attrition, both sides losing cheats in the battle, but the winner claiming the territory and victory. Spoiler alert, the South loses. The North has a vastly superior navy and resources, plus automatic reinforcement cards that only gets better, while the South has no navy and all its reinforcements are garbage. So here's the deal. The South doesn't have to win the war to win the game. The South player wins by delaying the inevitable. The Union player has 3 time checkpoints in the game, and if he or she hasn't met the game's predetermined target for beating up on the South, he loses immediately. With Lincoln, you get 66 3/4-inch counters, 119 cards, one 16 by 23-inch board. The game has a slim-sized 20-page rulebook. 20. It's small, easy to read, fit in your pocket, and my handbag. Lincoln, designed by Martin Wallace and published by PSC Games. Thank you for watching. If you want to know more about war games, please check out No Enemies Here, Wargaming News. See you next week.
I didn't want to do this. They forced me. She forced me. She said it would be good for me. Anyways, here goes. Okay, so Robinson Crusoe, Adventure on Cursed Island, is a game designed by Ignacy Cevicek. Yeah, Cevicek, not Trevisiak or something like that. And this is a 1 to 4 player game, and playing time's about 120 minutes. If you're gonna make it that far. You know, Meeple University, Tarrant, and Stella, they do a great job of teaching you how to play the game. Well, I'm not gonna teach you how to play the game. I'm gonna tell you how I felt playing this game. What happened to me, my trials and tribulations, the monkeys attacking me, me getting sick, my morale, dead people washing up on shore. That's this game. You know, when they say war games are brutal, I'd rather get shot in the head than see one of my friends get washed up ashore half eaten by a shark and who knows what, with barnacles sticking out of whatever. So the crux of this game is that basically you're shipwrecked on an island, an uncharted island. You're lucky you have your clothes on, because you got nothing. In a war game, at least you have a gun. You might have one bullet. And even if you don't have the bullet, you can butt the person in the head. But anyways, so you're on an island, and, well, you're left to the elements. You gotta find shelter. You gotta feed yourself. You gotta build a cave to put the non-perishable, to put the perishable food inside, so it's not eaten by the tiger that's hunting you, or the gorilla that's gonna kill you, or the monkeys that are ripping up your. So in the first scenario, Castaways, you got 12 turns to build a fire. Easy? No! Because you gotta go get the wood. So you send one of your friends to go get the wood. What does he do? He steps on his stick, hurts his foot, it gets infected. Bees come after him, they're biting him. He's ruined. So what do you do about food? Well, you take it upon yourself. You go into the woods and you go hunt for berries, whatever you find. And what do you find? You find a tiger. And what do? You turn around and you run back to the beach where all your friends are. What does a tiger do? He comes back and he says, great, a buffet. 10 minutes, everybody's dead. This is a great game. I never had so much fun failing and dying over and over and over again. Ask me if I ever won a scenario. Don't ask me that. Robinson Crusoe, Adventure at Cursed Island. Great game. If you want to know more about Euros, don't check me out. Check out Meeple University. If you want to know more about war games, check me out on No Enemies Here. Thank you.
What's up, Internet? My name is Michael Cook. This is Board Game Evangelism, and we're here to spread the good news of face-to-face fun. Today, we're going to start taking a look at Keyflower. This is a game that has a whole bunch going on for it. And we're going to talk in the next couple weeks about tile laying, route building, worker placement, auctioning, pick up and deliver, set collection. So that's a lot to talk about. Let's jump right into tile laying. So we're going to jump right out the bat. We're going to talk about King Domino. Simple game where you're going to be getting tiles, you're going to be laying them out. All you have to do is match the at least one type of terrain like you would do in dominoes, and you're going to be building a countryside, which is basically what you're doing in Keyflower. Now the next step up from there, still an easy game, is going to be Alhambra. In this one, we're going to be building a city, and now we have to manage a wall around it, and we're managing our money and we have to kind of do some valuation, decide which thing we want to add in. And there's also a touch of set collection in there. So that's kind of foreshadowing, I guess. And then Carcassonne is also going to be a tile laying game where now we have meeples that we have to kind of place out. It's for area control, but that's almost hints a little bit towards that auctioning. And we now have to match things like roads to roads, which is what we're going to have to do in Keyflower as well as we build up a countryside, again, like Keyflower. The next step up is going to be a decent step up, which may end up getting saved for later on down the road, but it is a good step between Carcassonne and a big game like Keyflower, and that's going to be Glenmore. In Glenmore, you're going to be putting these tiles out, building up a countryside, but where you place them is going to matter, and you also have now a whole bunch of resources that you have to manage, and that is a big part of Keyflower, so I think that that's a really good stepping stone along the way. So if you can let me know in the comment section below if you have any other tile laying recommendations, or if you have any route building recommendations for me to look at for next week. And until next week, you can follow me on all the social media platforms at Macronova Games and enjoy the rest of your breakfast.
So what's getting added to the library this week? Well, first of all, Haven, a 2-player game from Ryan Lockett. Published by him, Alf Seeger, is a designer. A cool game. This little Counterfeiters game, which I'm really enjoying. I think that's a lot of fun, a little worker placement game. Meowie is kind of a silly game of catching fish, but I think it could work at conventions. People have fun playing it. And then Passing Through Petra. I may not have really enjoyed the game, but it looks cool, and I've noticed a lot of other people enjoy it, so it's one we'll add to the library. And that's what we're adding this week.
Hey gamers, this is Liz Davidson from Beyond Solitaire, and I hope that you're enjoying your board game breakfast. Today I want to talk about solo gaming in general and its value for me. So typically I post on a lot of solo-only groups on Facebook. You know, a lot of people around me just think it's normal to play solo games because that's who I hang out with online. But somebody referred to playing by yourself this week as pathetic. And I was reminded that there's like a whole group of people who don't appreciate the finer joys of playing a game by yourself. I think it goes without saying that you should just let people enjoy whatever they enjoy. I mean, board gaming is a hobby and it's supposed to be fun. But it also leads me to ask, when was the last time that you were ever really alone? And that means no cell phone, nobody's texting you, nobody's emailing you, you're not waiting for interaction with someone, really alone. Whether it's gaming or not, I highly recommend that you go and just do something by yourself this week, because that's what solo gaming is for me. Even if it's just reading a book, go to a movie by yourself. Try taking yourself out to dinner, which is actually really fun because you don't have to share dessert. But go and do something by yourself, because trust me, learning to enjoy your own company is the greatest gift of all. Happy gaming!
Hey guys, my name's Nick and welcome to your Mental Health Minute. I'm here to talk about nostalgia and the power that nostalgia can bring into somebody, especially in board gaming. Nostalgia is when we look back and we remember the good times, or the good old days, as some of us would say, and really get invested in that feeling. It provides a quick sense of warmth and just good memory about an experience. For example, with board games, people were playing Clue, chess, checkers, whatever you may have played when you were younger, and you can remember that. And it can trigger a memory that lasts you so long. And now that we're playing board games modernized, there's some games that were like, oh, this reminds me of when I played this game with my friends when I was younger, and it really was an enjoyable experience. And then you revel in that experience that you had years and years ago and apply it to what you're doing right now. And that brings us up and brings us a sense of warmth and happiness inside us. And that's what drives board games a lot of the time. Fireball Island was just reprinted. on Kickstarter, and people flock to it because they remember that experience that they had with the game and want to maybe either share it with their friends or maybe their kids and bring that experience back to the board gaming hobby that they had and loved back then and now have re-entered recently. Are there any games out there that really trigger nostalgia for you? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your story. And I'm going to leave my Twitter and my YouTube available. Please check those for updates. And please enjoy your breakfast.
Hey folks, welcome to Tom Thinks, and today we're taking a look here at Dice Tower West, the first Dice Tower convention that is on the west side of America in Las Vegas. And so this is day one of the con. Well, technically it started Wednesday night, but this is Thursday. Right now you're looking at it, it's around noon on a Thursday. This con is a continuation of MeepleCon, which happened for 4 years before Dice Tower West, and it kind of merged it, but it's gotten quite a bit larger. So let's take a look around the con. Distributor area, manufacturers and publishers. So here you can see Broken Token selling off their cool stuff. Over here we got Academy Games and Eagle Griffin. And so if you want to come, there's publishers from big publishers to small publishers. There's Ryan Lockett doing sit-ups or something. And look, it's Rado, not talking. Very weird. Here we got Cosmos, moving around. So you can see, like, again, very small publishers to large ones, not just games. We got people with gaming accessories here. They're making dice bags, making them on the spot. Orders. I'll have to come back and get something for this. And Destiny Aurora. Over here, the last days of Bathabray. And since this just opened about 30 minutes ago, so you know that people are extremely, sorry, that always tends to get me. People are, first coming in for the first time, but I would imagine this will be busy over the entirety of the convention. So the look here is Lucky Duck Games. There's Tim Fowers. Wow! And there's even stuff here in the very last row. See a couple of publishers back here. And look, there's some empty booths, which could be your publisher next year. Yes, that's right. We've already, the contract's already been signed. Dice Tower West 2 is definitely happening. Here I am standing kind of in the middle of the hall. So this is the main hall. There's a small area upstairs to play games. But this is mostly what it looks like. Now you'll notice there's a lot of empty seats because a lot of people right now are out to lunch. Last night this was fairly full. So here's the demo zone where there's people who are demoing games. Over here is hot games. Okay, so I've set up 2 copies of Wingspan and 2 copies of Quacks and Quedlinburg, and those games are almost always in play. Vindication, Dinogenics, Smartphone. Then over here is the Play Games at Dice Tower. So here's a chance to meet people from the Dice Tower. Different people will be here throughout the day. So you can see Crystal over there. Okay, enough of that. Over here we got Robert Geislinger and Mike Parkinson teaching Smartphone. And then here is the library for the Dice Tower. So Dice Tower West. So this is actually a different library than my library is. I have, just because of logistics, we can't put them by each other. But this one you can see is pretty big. That wasn't the library. Wait, there's more. So there's more all the way over here. Lots of games. Yep, and there's a play to win. So that one whole shelf over there is play to win games. And then when you can sign up, and if you have a chance to win it, all you have to do is play it. Over here is the Land of the Giants. You can see that sign in the distance, where people can play the mega games. You see the Giant Small World, and so some bigger games out here. So this is kind of, again, it's kind of quiet right now because people are running out for lunch and things, but it's probably going to pick up more. Here's the entrance for Dice Tower West, the gate to get in. It leads into that ballroom. We got registration over here, people buying snacks, and man, we let everybody in. Well, that's it, folks. I don't want to belabor the point. Dice Tower West is awesome and fun and amazing, and we've had a great time. You'll probably see vlogs throughout the week where he goes and he never turns the camera off. But I hope that you guys had a fantastic time. If you were here, thank you for coming. And if not, come next year. See you then.
Happy breakfast, everybody. Today, I'm going to talk to you about this expansion. It's Sensei's Path for Onitama. Onitama is one of my favourite two-player games. There's a lot of strategy in there of what is effectively a movement game between two players with 5 cards. 5 cards that rotate around the table. This expansion adds in 16 new cards. I love the expansion. I think it's absolutely brilliant that it adds new content to the game, even if it is only new movement cards. What I really dislike about this expansion is this glorious box. So it is a nice box, there's no denying it. It's like a small version of the actual game, even down to the magnetic close. So why don't I like it? Because it's going to go in the bin. It's absolutely glorious and is a complete waste. Those 16 cards, once shuffled in, just will never get taken out of the deck and fit into the actual, the sort of the base game box. So for an expansion where you're clearly paying money for it to close up nicely like this, what's the point? You've added probably extra money onto the retail price for nothing in return for the gamer. And that really bugs me. Brilliant expansion for a brilliant game, but still very irritating. Let me know in the comments section below if you found an expansion like this that is also brilliant and bonkers, and just why would you have done that all in the same time? Anyway, thanks for listening, and I'm Oliver East, signing out.
Hey everyone, Chris Renshaw here, and March is Women's History Month, so I thought it would be a good idea to highlight a couple of RPGs that were either designed by women or women had a large helping hand in. So first up, we're going to start with Meg Baker, who was one of the primary forces behind Apocalypse World. This right here, this is the 2nd edition book, and if you've ever heard the words powered by the apocalypse, then that's referring to Apocalypse World. This book started a revolution in RPG game design that has allowed a lot of people to easily adapt this system and make their own custom RPGs. So this book right here, the setting itself is based on kind of like a Fallout sort of game, but you can take this system and there is a multitude of ways that you can go with it. Next up, we have one that I've hinted at in the past, but we have Bluebeard's Bride from Magpie Games, written by Whitney Beltran, Marissa Kelly, and Sarah Richardson. This takes place in an urban legend kind of fantasy game where people play different aspects of a woman's psyche, and it's kind of a horror tale because it turns out the man she married may have been a murderer. Next up, we have one of my favorite RPG designers, and that is Shauna Germain over at Monte Cook Games. Her setting for the Cypher system, known as Predation, is one I've briefly spoken about before, but just to recap, you are players from the future who get stuck in the past, back in dinosaur times, in the Cretaceous period, and not only have to figure out how to live, but somehow maybe figure out how to get back to the future. Another game designed by Shauna Germain and from Monte Cook Games is No Thank You Evil. And another reason I want to highlight this is a great intro game for getting kids into playing RPGs. Specifically, you can even get them as low as 4 or 5. If they're old enough to read and write, then they can play No Thank You Evil. And it's a great way of getting people into playing different role-playing games. And then lastly, I want to talk about a game that I just talked about in a few episodes ago, but Legend of the Five Rings was also largely written by Katrina Ostrander. So there you go. There is just a fraction of the RPGs that you can find where women had a large helping hand in writing and developing. So let me know down in the comments below if there's any I missed that are your favorites, or if you have any questions about the games that I've shown here. Also, make sure to follow us on all the different social networks and check out the Boards and Swords YouTube channel and podcast for other great board games and RPG contents. Thank you for watching, and until next time, may all your hits be crits.
Hello, my name's Dan, and this is Cora, and we're here to talk about kids' games that we like. Kids' games that are really good for preschoolers or children of 5 and under, basically. Cora here is only 2, so she's not very good at playing.
Dad,
what?
I'm 4.
Oh, she's 4. Cora here's 4, so these are games that we enjoy playing. Hello, and goodbye, really. This is going to be the last Dan and Cora segment on the Dice Tower on Board Game Breakfast, and I wanted to say some of the reasons why and to say some thank yous. Basically, YouTube have changed some of the rules that govern kind of videos with children in them very recently, and over the next few months they're going to be shutting down any comments on videos with kids in them. And to be honest, I don't disagree with their rationale behind that. But I don't want it to affect the Dice Tower. Now, I don't know if it will or won't or whatever, but the other side of things is that it feels like after 3 years, kind of, we've got into a bit of a rut with our segment, and I think things are come to a natural conclusion. Cora's a bit disappointed by it. That's why she's not with me today. And I'm at work as well, so don't tell my boss that I'm doing Dice Tower videos while I'm at work. But so yeah, so this is goodbye. We're still going to carry on gaming, certainly. And in fact, Cora and I have just started a new board game club for kids in Huddersfield, which runs every month. So if anyone's in the local area and wants to, on the second Sunday of every month, down at IQ Games in Huddersfield, starting at 11 o'clock, if you want to join us down there for some board games, it'd be fantastic. We're getting some really good numbers, getting about 50 people each time coming down to play games with their families and meet new friends, and wonderful. So we're doing that still. We're still playing games with each other, which is great. And also, I'm also still podcasting over on Sporadically Bored with Mike Delisio. So that's where I am. But we won't be on Board Game Breakfast anymore. And I wanted to say some thank yous. I wanted to thank Tom for letting us be on the show. He's a very nice man. And thanking the rest of the kind of wider Dice Tower family for being our friend, really, and for being my friend, certainly, and making us feel so warm and welcome. I want to thank people who watched us and have enjoyed us, messing around with the video camera, messing around with each other, and giving some nice positive feedback. But most of all, I'd like to thank my co-host, Cora Hughes, who is an incredibly warm and witty and funny and beautiful and amazing human being that I'm very proud to be her father, and I treasure every moment I spend with her. And this may feel like an end to you, but it's not an end for us, because we'll continue gaming and we'll continue loving each other, and we're just continuing on. So we're just not filming anymore, that's all. So again, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much to Tom for having us. And we give being on the Dice Tower 2 Stone Age thumbs up. 2 robotic thumbs up. 2 escaping thumbs up. 2 chopping thumbs up. 2 mice scaring elephants thumbs up. Squeak, 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 squeak. Do your elephant noise. And do your pigeon noise. The same noise.
And that's it from the Dice Tower, another Board Game Breakfast. Thank you all for watching. We have a new editor on board, Chris, and he's the guy who actually is editing this, so I'm appreciative of that. You're going to start seeing things get better and better as time goes by. Now that we have 2 video editors, we're going to be able to do more stuff, but that's coming in the future. Right now, we're still getting our, everything down. I'm going to be reporting from the news from Gamma, so I'll try to tell you some stuff that I found out there as the week goes on. Follow us on Twitter, follow us on Facebook. But either way, keep gaming, have a lot of fun. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel here at Dice Tower West. See you next time.
Thanks for watching Board Game Breakfast. Tune in each week for your daily dose of gaming goodness with Tom Vasel and all the gang. Until next time, I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching Board Game Breakfast, a Dice Tower production, sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., an amazing place to buy board games. Cool stuff in stock at coolstuffinc.com.